Okay, so in this video I'm going to cover differentiation of polynomial expressions. So before I dive into questions, let's do a bit of theory. So okay, polynomial expressions usually come in, let's say the variable is x, so we can have x cubed, x squared plus something. So let's just focus on a general thing for now. So let's say we have x to some power n, and we're asked to differentiate that. Now how we write such an expression is by saying d by dx of x to the n. So that's how we would write it, or we would express it, and that is equal to n x to the n minus 1. Now what that means is whatever the power that is on the x term, we're going to multiply by that power, keep our x term, and reduce the power of that x term by 1. And let's say we have a constant term, constant meaning just a number. Okay, we could look at it like this. Okay, if we have, let's say, c is a constant, right? And we're asked to differentiate c, d dx of c. Now d dx of a constant is just 0. How we could look at that is, what if we had cx and x is raised to the 0 power? We all know that anything raised to the 0 power is 1. So basically that would just be c times 1. Now if we should follow from the principle above and say that, okay, let me just get rid of the 0 here for now, just right here. Okay, so we would first multiply by the power on the x term, so that would be 0 c x, and that's going to be, the x is going to be to the 0 minus 1. Now already we can see that the result of this expression here, this expression is 0, because anything times 0 is 0. Therefore when we differentiate a constant term, we get 0. So if we differentiate 1, 2, 3 straight to forever, infinity, we should get 0. Alright, so let's move on to some problems and ensure that you make note of these principles. These are basics and they will pop up in other questions. It will require you to apply them. Okay, so let's just write a question here. X cubed plus 2x squared plus x plus 3. And let's say we are asked to differentiate that. So d dx. And as time goes by, you will learn other ways to write derivative. For now, let's just stick to dx. I'll cover more questions in other videos as I go along, and I'll cover differentiation of trig functions or logarithmic functions, are exponential functions. For now, we're focusing on polynomial expressions. Okay, so if we follow from the principle that I showed before, we would differentiate each term using that same principle. So let's go ahead. So we'll first differentiate x cubed, and if we differentiate x cubed, if you can recall, you multiply by the power, write back your x, then you reduce the power by 1, so 3 minus 1, and plus we multiply by the power. So now make note that's 2, we're multiplying by the 2 in the power, so that's 2x, and we're going to reduce the power by 1, so that's 2 minus 1. Good. So we multiplied all of this by 2, and x, when you differentiate x, if you haven't guessed it before, that's just 1, because you would multiply by the power, which is 1. But when you reduce the power of x by 1, it would just be 1 minus 1, which is 0. Anything to the 0 power is 1, hence the derivative of x is just 1. And of course the derivative of 3 is 0. Now we can just simplify that, so that's 3x squared, 3 minus 1 is 2, that's plus 4x, that's 4x, because 2 minus 1 is 1, so that's just x to the 1 power, which is x, 4 times x, 4x, plus 1, and of course we don't have to write back that 0. Now let's just write another problem. Now if we differentiate this following from the previous question, same principle, you differentiate each term in the expression. If we differentiate x squared, that's 2 times x, and we reduce the power of the x by 1, so that's 2 minus 1, which is 1, x to the 1 power, and x to the 1 power is just x, so we don't have to put the 1 in the power there. And when you differentiate 2, which is a constant, that's just 0. Therefore the derivative of this expression is 2x. We can do another problem. dx, let's say we have 3x cubed minus 10x squared plus 20x. Good. And we're asked to find the derivative of this expression. Now, as I said before, what you need to do is differentiate each term in the expression. Now if we differentiate 3x cubed, if you follow from before, you multiply by the 3 in the power, put back our x. Now we reduce the power on the x by 1, 3 minus 1, that's 2, so that becomes squared. Good. Now we have minus 2, we're going to multiply by the 2 in the power, put back our 10 on x. Now we reduce the power on the x by 1, so 2 minus 1, that's just 1. X to the 1 power is just x, so we don't have to put the 1 in that power. Now it's plus, multiply by the power, but the power here is 1, so we don't have to multiply by the 1 because 1 times anything is 1, so it will just be 1 times 20, which is 20. Great, so if we simplify, we get 9x squared minus 20x plus 20. And that's simply how you differentiate polynomial expressions. In future videos, I will cover first principles, differentiating trig expressions, exponential expressions, and logarithmic. Let me see how long this video is. Okay, this is just a little over 10 minutes. Okay, so I'll stop the video here for now and continue with more differentiation problems in future videos.